Well, good day, good day, good day. This is Kazak, and we're going to talk today with Azaria Kubad. We're going to share some good information with regards to Azaria food and nutrition tips. There are many Israelites and people that are listening across the airwaves that would like to find out information about how holistic eating and healthy eating. And so now we're going to present you, without further ado, Azaria and Kazak, food and nutrition tips. All right, so uh, we're talking about health and fitness, and basically what I was sharing was how I know that things that I eat now, I have been educated how to eat properly and how to be healthy, how to stay physically fit, and all of that. But sometimes our lifestyles that we have adopted can alter that because we may not be able to get to the foods that we used to get to. Especially, I use myself as an
Foods
example.
that are healthier for you, because in the stores now they really, well, some of the stores are trying to carry healthy foods like Naked. They have their protein drinks, but majority of the times you can't find anything healthy. I mean, they might have a salad, and it's usually what is that, not romaine lettuce, it's the other one that has no nutritional value at all. What's the other lettuce?
Iceberg.
Iceberg lettuce, yeah, that has no nutritional value at all. The other lettuce is like romaine lettuce. That's the most healthiest between the two. Uh, but go ahead. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, so I was just basically saying that many 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 years ago, before I was 270 pounds, where I am now, I ate properly, and but now since I've been a truck driver and now eating on the road, and a lot of times when you're in the truck stops, they don't have the food, healthy food, the food that's going to allow you to live. They don't have those type of foods. And then we as Hebrews, we as Hebrews, covenant Hebrews, live by a dietary law. We live by a dietary law that governs us as far as to what we should eat that will help us to live, help us to be healthy. And now we go out and we eat foods that are foods that the Most High gave us to eat. We have to inquire, what did they put in that food? How did you make it? For example, we was talking about how that I went to go to a restaurant. It was a chicken dish, but they made it with lobster sauce. So chicken's lawful, but then you ask, how did you prepare that? Did you prepare it with? Oh, we made it with lobster sauce, or like you said,
What's that, coleslaw?
potato salad.
What's potato salad?
Went to a restaurant to get potato salad, and they put bacon on it. Bacon on potato salad. So those are things that we know lawful, and then also we look at the foods that we eat as far as to like Israelites, foods that we know that are good to eat, that we know that the Father gave us to eat, right? But how did they grow it?
Yeah, that too.
What type of hormonal pesticides, hormonal injections, and the pesticides they put on that food that we eat? That is lawful according to the laws of the Creator. That's good for us to eat, but they laced it with some other stuff that made it not good.
Yeah. It's usually the hormones are given to the animals,
Right.
like the cows, and I feel that's why a lot of the children, females, especially the females, they're developing a lot faster with the breast and their buttocks, and I think that's why they're developing a lot
Sure.
faster because of the hormones, and who else knows what they're what they're injecting the animals with, the cows with. One thing I remember during this whole course of my life, when it comes to nutrition, there was a book I read. It was interesting. It was called Eat Right for Your Type. And your type meaning your blood type. Now, he explains that everyone's blood type originated from your bloodline's location. Going back to the cave, I'm just going to say caveman, okay? Like for myself, my blood type is O. So my ancestors back there, what they would do, they would kill their food, eat it, and then move on. And he explained that I know mine, but he also went through other blood types, and he said that all the earth started out with O blood types, but what happened, whatever region the O types were in, there wasn't enough food for everyone, so the O types had to migrate to different areas. And then whatever area they migrated to, their bodies adapted to that. So that's why you'll find some people can eat certain foods, and if you look at their blood type, you'll see why. Because there's certain enzymes that you need to digest certain foods. So this is what happened. This is his theory. I don't remember his theory or he did any research. I don't remember because it's been a while since I read the book. But it's interesting because I remember I was eating a lot of wheat and I couldn't figure out why I had problems with my sinuses, and I just felt like I was full. It just gave me a weird feeling. I couldn't figure out what it was. Anyway, after reading this book, wheat is one of the worst things that I could eat. And that's another thing. In the book, it explains, depending on your you would look up your blood type, and then it would explain which foods are beneficial, which foods are neutral, and then which foods to avoid. The foods you avoid can cause, let's say, mucus buildup, cancer. He explains all this in the book. Anyway, and when I looked at my blood type and saw wheat was something I should not eat, when I stopped eating the wheat, my sinuses cleared. I mean, I really had bad allergies where I couldn't even breathe through my nose. I mean, that's how bad it was. I had to go to the doctor and all that kind of stuff. So when I cut that out, I was really surprised. So I pretty much since then avoid those foods I shouldn't have. And I find that I don't have I'll just say I don't have the mucus buildup that I had at that time. I don't have my sinuses. I don't have that sort of problem anymore. During January, I may have some allergies for maybe a week. That's about it. And then I found it's called a neti pot. I haven't tried it yet. Neti pots, what they do is clean out your sinuses. You use a special salt. You put it in this like pot, and then you actually rinse out your nose, your sinuses, and it cleans out all the garbage that goes into your nostrils. You know, we have hair in our nostrils, and the hair is there to actually filter the air that you breathe through your nose. And what this does, this cleans all of that out, all of your sinuses, and it's supposed to help you with your allergies, if you have any allergies. So I haven't tried it. I did purchase it, but I haven't tried it yet to actually see if it works. And I have a coworker who swears by it, but I haven't tried it yet. My sinuses aren't like that. The only time I would really need that is if it's in that time period when it's allergy season. For me, it's January.
So, in other words, what you're saying is, from just listening to you talking, there are a lot of factors that you have to consider for healthiness. Mm-hmm. It could be environmental, and what you take in, what you eat, and so forth.
Right, exactly.
And you said eating according to knowledge, according to, and you used the example of the blood type.
Yeah. I think that helped a lot. And I'm not saying every single book that's out there has the correct information. I guess you have to.
Separate the meat from the bones.
Yeah, yeah, you have to do that because I've read a lot of health books on different issues, women issues, men, of course, because I have a man in my life. I want to make sure he's healthy too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I take what I know from each one and incorporate it. Like eat right for your type. I'll use that with something else. So that whole, like you said, I just take the knowledge that I have and utilize that. I know, like apple. I love apples, but I stopped eating them. I'm not going to say I do it 100%. I don't eat it like I used to because I used to eat a lot of apples.
Why'd you stop eating apples?
Because it's apples I shouldn't eat. Apples, oranges, and this is interesting. One of the reasons why I shouldn't eat that is because O types have have enough hydrochloric acid in their stomach to digest their food. When you add an orange, you're adding more acid, so that could cause more acid to be in your stomach, which causes digestive problems like what do you call that, acid reflux, stuff like that. But then you also have to keep in mind, see, and that's where I combine my knowledge that I know about health and what happens to the body as you get older. As you get older, the hydrochloric acid in your stomach decreases. So sometimes, like I used to go to a chiropractor. Chiropractors will give you hydrochloric acid. And what I found, I was a lot younger when he gave me the hydrochloric acid, but when I started doing my own research and and reading, I was too young to really be taking the hydrochloric acid. So I stopped taking that, but I did take a digestive aid. So what I'm trying to say is I had to incorporate what was being said in that book as far as eat right for your type, but also knowing that, I had to think about my age factor as well. Because maybe if I eat an orange now, maybe it wouldn't have all that acid reflux. But then again, going back to everything else he was saying, having the enzymes in your body to digest it. But I remember specifically he was saying it's very acidic, and we already have enough acid in our stomachs. But again, as you get older, it decreases. The hydrochloric acid in your stomach decreases. So what I've done, instead of taking hydrochloric acid, I use a plant enzymes to digest my food. I do that. Also, when it comes to changing your eating habits, really don't like saying diet because you should change your eating habits because that's what it really is. I mean, because a lot of times people think I'm going on a diet. Oh, first thing they think about things they can't eat, and then they're going to feel deprived. So if you think in terms of changing your eating habits, that's a lot easier. So once you make a decision to change your eating habits, the first thing I would say to you is to first clean out your system, because you have a whole bunch of stuff in there. In your intestines is basically what I'm talking about, that you need to get out. So what I usually suggest to people is to drink a whole bottle of citric of magnesia. You stay home, because once you drink that, you won't be able to go out anywhere. You drink that. You drink it before you go to bed. You'll be going to the bathroom in the morning, and then now if you can do this is the best way to clean your system out. If you can do this, you drink water. You make sure you drink a lot of water the next day, and also you eat fruit. Now, if you go according to your blood type, looking in this book I was telling you about, Eat Right for Your Type. You look at your blood type and you eat those fruits that are beneficial for you. You eat salads as well, not the salads that are in these stores, because a lot of times they put preservatives in those salads, so the salads won't turn brown so quickly. You buy your own lettuce, your own tomatoes. If you can buy organic, that's the best. You make your salads. You bring them with you to work. You bring your juice. If it's possible for you to juice your own fruit, do that. Otherwise, find the juice, and you have to read the labels. Find the juice that has no sugar in it, because what you're trying to do is to clean out your system, everything. Because see, this is my opinion. I think there are certain ingredients that's put in food that makes you crave that food. Everything, candy, it doesn't matter. If you ever think about a particular thing and your mouth starts to water, I really, really think that they put something in the foods so you could crave it and eat it. So this whole process of cleaning out your system will help your body eliminate all of that. But you have to do it for at least a week. Now, it's going to be difficult, especially if you've never done it. I've done this for over 30 years. I'm not going to tell you how old I am. But I've done it for over 30 years. I mean, I've gotten to a point where, sometimes I eat those things I'm not supposed to eat, according to Eat Right for Your Type. And I know it because I've been doing this for so long, I can tell from my body, I need to clean my system out. And I'll do exactly that. I'll take the citric of magnesia, and then I'll eat the fruit and the vegetables, and I just get back on track again. Okay, so once you do that, make sure you drink plenty of water. You have to drink plenty of water. You have your fruit, you have your vegetables. If you can make soup, make your own soup. Make your own soup. You want to stay away from the starches as well. Excuse me. You want to stay away from the starches, so no pasta or anything like that. Now, please, if you're on any kind of medication, I know Kazak had put out a disclaimer, and he's right. If you're on any medication before you do anything like this, or even if you're not on any medication or under doctor's care, ask your doctor first about doing this. I've been doing this, like I said, for over 30 years. Actually, a little longer. And I found it to work for me.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
So she's not telling her age, but that's okay. Go ahead. Over 30 years.
over 30 years, I said over 30.
So we know she's at least over 30.
Yeah.
Okay. Because people see you, they say, "Well, how old are you? How old is this? Are you?" They want to know.
And I never tell them.
You never tell your age.
I never tell my age.
But
And I'm not going to. It's not
you would be
important.
surprised because, see, the thing of it is that your youth should be renewed if you are properly taking care of yourself. You shouldn't, as you get older, look like you're deteriorating.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that age means that you're supposed to look like you're deteriorating.
Yeah. But
And
no.
we have a lot of people that are in their 30s and 40s that look older than people who are older than them, and when they say, like you were saying, someone at work had told you, they were bragging about their age. Well, I'm only 35 years old. And you're like, really? You look like you're 65, because I'm not taking care of themselves. But I want to get to some information that's going to probably help people. I want to ask you some questions,
Okay.
if I can.
I finished my train of thought, though.
Okay, go ahead. Finish that train of thought. Go ahead.
I was talking about them making their own soup. And using organic, if you can, if you can purchase, because organic fruits and vegetables they're very expensive. But if you can't, you can't. But I don't suggest purchasing soups in a can, because they have a whole lot of additives in there that you don't need. Unless you go to a health food store, they have soups in there in cans, and also these like boxes that you can put on the shelf. You don't have to refrigerate until after it's open. And those soups don't have any additives in there, so you can use that. And you do this if you can. You may, like I said, you may cheat, because I cheat myself. Like the first week is really difficult. Then the following week, I don't cheat. It's easier for me the following week. And then sometimes I'll continue this for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And it's amazing. When you clean your system out, the food tastes so much better. It does. You can actually taste the tomato. It's so delicious. And that's because all of that junk that's in your intestines is all cleaned out and your system is clean.
So even
Okay.
the tomatoes that are non-organic, you can even taste it.
But you could taste the difference. That you can taste the preservatives that they have in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really bad. There is a difference. Hmm.
Let's see. Now, I want were you finished with your thought?
Oh, yeah. Oh, making their own soup. Yeah, they can find a recipe online to make your own soup. But just make sure that, or you can purchase a book on fasting, or a lot of books on fasting will have, recipes for soups. If you have a fasting book and it doesn't have recipes in there for soups, don't buy the book. I'll tell you now, don't buy the book. Mm-mm. Every book I've ever purchased from way back then had soups in there that you could either have cold, what they call gazpacho
Mm-hmm.
soups, cold or hot. And you do need something hot in your system. So
So now the soups that they make, are they herbal soups, or are they like chicken broths, or what?
no,
type
no
of-
chicken. You're this for this cleansing process. You're not going to have any meat, no starch, no sugar. What you're trying to do is clean out all of that out of your system. The chicken, all the lawful foods that you've been eating, and the unlawful ones. When I say unlawful, I'm not talking about biblically. I'm talking about like the flowers. See, the flowers of back in the biblical times was not this flower, this white flower. Flour actually isn't white. Flour is brown. What they do through the process, they've taken out the nutrients. And if you notice, if you read the ingredient, a lot of them have added nutrients back into it because they've stripped it. So these you can do this experiment yourself. These white breads, they are not good for you because, like I said, they've stripped the actual wheat. I think it starts out as wheat. I don't remember right now, but I know it's been stripped. And if you look at the ingredients, they've added like the vitamins and stuff to it, which doesn't make sense to me. I mean, why strip it? Just leave it as it, like, naturally. You don't have to add nothing to it. No nutrients to it. And you could take a slice of bread and put it in some water and watch it expand, and that's what it does in your system.
Hmm.
Oh, I want to
So
say
that's
something.
kind of scary. So people that actually eat white bread, just listening to you talking, is kind of making them feel like that. Wow, man. Just thinking about it, I can just imagine people's thoughts, because I know there are a lot of people that still
They
that are
like
not
that white bread.
they're not educated, and they still eat white bread. For example, pizza is made from white bread, right?
Now,
You want to elaborate a little bit on that?
well, it's the same. Pizza's uses that white flour. Now, again, going back to eat right for your type. For myself, like I'm not supposed to have that either, but I do eat pizza with rice flour. Now you can purchase that. I mean, it's not going to be as thick as that white flour. No, it's not the same, but it's tasty.
It's a different taste.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste. I mean, years ago, health foods was nasty, I'll tell you. Ooh, goodness, it was really horrible. They've come a long way in their flavor and texture and everything. They've come a long way.
Well, you have those people that are probably listening now, and they're saying, well, well, the Bible says not what you eat that defiles you. So, and meaning that you can eat whatever you want to eat, and they use other passages of scriptures that says, well, nothing is to be refused. You eat the food and you just pray over it and whatever. What would you say
It's
to
about
that?
unlawful foods, foods that we're not supposed to eat,
Right.
like crab and.
Yeah.
But they're all scavengers. Well, the person would just have to do some research and find out. Let's say the Bible had nothing to do with it, eating lawful. Just do research on the foods that you're eating. Just like lobster, they clean the bottom of the ocean. They're scavengers. The same with crabs. The same thing. The scavengers. So even if biblically it's not in there,
And a shrimp.
shrimp
The
the
same
same
way?
thing.
So, but they taste good. So,
Stuff that tastes good is bad for you. It's bad for you. Tastes good. Know that, because just like I know growing up, my mother used to fry chicken. That's lard. That was lard.
so
Remember?
the real thick white.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that chicken tastes real good.
But it
it
wasn't
was
good
lard.
for you.
No, it wasn't good for you.
But I mean, somebody listening might think, well, so I'm supposed to eat stuff that don't taste good, because there are things that are good for you that do taste good. For example, I love peaches. Peaches are good for you and it tastes good. Bananas are good for you, it tastes good. Things like that.
But it has to do a lot with seasoning too. Like cayenne pepper is a good seasoning. There are other seasonings, depending on what it is. Cayenne pepper or onion, garlic, all these are spices. You just have to find, and again, going back to the book, Eat Right for Your Type, it even has spices in there.
Well, something comes to mind while you were talking, and people say, well, my mother, my father, they ate that and they lived a long time, and I don't have a problem in my family, so why should I change, and why should I watch, and why should I not eat this, that, and the other? What would you say to that person?
No, because your parents didn't have it. Now, are we going to talk biblically, or we're talking about?
Well, we can.
But the foods now aren't the same as they were back then too.
That's a good point.
Okay,
That's what I was
they're
gonna
not
say.
the same because now they're using hormones. They're using everything. They're manipulating the genes of these animals now. It's almost better to be a vegetarian, but then you have to be careful of that because, they're now even with the beans, they're manipulating those now. So you have to be careful either way. I mean, you just pray and just pray that whatever it is that you're eating. I'm not talking about the meats now because we already know, especially the cows, what they're doing to the cows, and we just found out some things about the chicken. We just pray that whatever we're getting at that particular time is going to be nourishing to our bodies and not harmful, And if you can get organic foods, purchasing online from some of these organic farms and what have you, because they will send it to you.
And I like what you said about the foods, what they're doing to the foods now, because it's like when you think about it, even when it comes to fruit, right? And like we have seedless grapes and seedless oranges.
That's not
and
how the Father made things.
Seedless watermelons.
We came from seed. Didn't we come from a seed? All right.
So then I guess the question that a listener would have is, well, how did they produce that then?
They've come up, let me see what I'm now trying to get back to my biology because I know I forgot the procedure's called, but they splice the seeds and they put them together and they make something new. I forgot what it's called, but they splice it. And, oh boy, I speak good at science. But that's what they do. They come up with their own new whatever.
So it's kind of like a DNA manipulation.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Because the grapefruit, there's the pink grapefruit. I have don't quote me on this, but I think the pink grapefruit is something that they came up with. It doesn't have a seed in it. It tastes really good, but it's not like the white grapefruit where you have that huge seed and it's very bitter. And I think, and I have to do some research on this though, so don't quote me on it. The pink grapefruit, I don't think is a natural grapefruit. I really don't.
I believe that because, just like you said, I mean, for those that do read the Bible, and for those that don't read the Bible, when you think about the laws of life itself, whether you believe the Bible or not, everything produces after its kind. Seed.
That's right.
There's a just like a child is born through a seed, right? So, and the people that did this process of human cloning, they took the seeds, right, and creating like test tube babies and things like that out of the egg and the seed to manipulate it to make a child have a certain color eyes, a certain skin tone or complexion.
And I think it's on the gene itself. I think they can do something to the gene because it's DNA. What is it? There's two that are twisted together. I think it's DNA, RNA. I may be getting it confused, but anyway, each one it has like your color, your eyes, your height, and what have you, and they can just manipulate. They can cut it or something they could do to it, manipulate it so this way, like you said, they can have the green eyes instead of
Brown
the blue
eyes.
or brown or something like that. You know.
So, and just showing you that the scientists are manipulating seed, just like they do in humans. They're doing the same manipulation with the seed of food.
I think one of the reasons why they're doing all this manipulation is because they're not going to have enough food for everyone on this planet. I remember maybe about 15 years ago, the WHO had a meeting, and what they were saying is that within 50, I think it was 50 years at that time, they were saying that there would not be enough food for everyone on this planet. And I think that's the reason. I don't know, I really don't, but just knowing that, you know, that's something they said, I just can conclude that that's the reason for all of this. Because if all you need is just, if you can manipulate a gene and then you can produce your own fruit from that one gene, you can manipulate a whole lot of genes. You don't need a lot of animals. You don't need a lot of plants. All you need is a few. And then you could have thousands and thousands of plants, thousands of cows. Because now they're doing the, what is that, cloning. So you don't need a whole lot of, all you need is like one. You need one animal and you can clone thousands, millions from that one animal.
So let me ask you a question. So how much effect would you say that the manipulated fruits and vegetables and even animals that are lawful, how much effect does that have on on the human health?
Well, they're doing all this manipulation. The Father created us a certain way. He didn't create manipulated genes, or everything was so simple. You have this plant, it has its own seed, you grow it. This is for your body.
And it replenishes.
Exactly. Now, what they're doing, something is actually missing. I think something's missing from this manipulation of the products that we eat, the animals that we eat, the fruit that we eat. Something is missing. It's just like with the microwave. You know, the microwave was the big thing. Oh, you know, we can just pop food in there. But actually, what is it doing to that food? You know, it's got to be killing the nutritional value from the food. Something is going on within that food. We may not know because we're not scientists, but to me, common sense. If they're using high degrees of waves to cook your food, something's going on. Okay.
Well, it could be. It could. I've heard. I'm not a doctor or anything in that particular, but I've heard that it creates a certain amount of radiation in the food, which could possibly be a contributor to the cause of
The
cancer.
cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's feasible.
But now, I answered the question about how does that affect the health of people, because a lot of people say, well, I'm eating healthy, but how do
How
you
were they eating healthy?
how do you define healthy? Because you're
Yeah.
eating a seedless grapes, seedless oranges, seedless watermelons, um, stuff that was created, pink grapefruit. How do you classify? How do you say, well, I'm eating healthy, and they're eating like that? I'm give you a testimony, and I'm gonna let you go ahead and elaborate on that.
I don't see that as as eating healthy. I really don't. It's gotten to a point where you have to read all the ingredients of the product that you're going to eat, and the nutrition in that product is really lost, because even if you're eating, let's say,
A seedless orange.
seedless orange, or now I'm getting into the jars that they have with the fruit in it.
Okay.
Um, no, not that. It was something else. I know the amount of you can tell the amount of an ingredient by the location of that ingredient. Let's say, I'm trying to think. What's a good example? Let's say if you're purchasing olive oil, right? You're purchasing olive oil. When you look at the ingredients, let's say in that bottle, the first ingredient will be canola oil. Next ingredient is sapphire oil. Next ingredient is palm oil, and then you have olive oil. So how much olive oil do you really have in there? It's actually, how many things it's actually the fifth ingredient on there. So how much olive oil are you really getting? It's the fifth one. See, it's labeled according to how much that particular item is, if I'm explaining it correctly. It's in there. If olive oil was the first ingredient, then the majority of that olive oil in there is from olive oil. But now we're talking about it being the last. So now you basically you're really getting canola oil, if that's your first ingredient, with the flavoring of olive oil, let's say.
So would that person be able to say that they're eating healthy if they're eating that?
No. If their whole purpose of eating healthy or getting in, I think olive oil has the omegas in it, if I'm not mistaken, they would have to purchase something that has just the olive oil, not canola, safflower, and then you have olive oil.
So now here's a question I want to ask. So people say, well, I'm eating healthy. I'm a vegan now. I'm a vegetarian, vegan, or whatever. And could it be possible that a person could be a vegetarian or a vegan and not necessarily be eating healthy? According to how that the fruits and vegetables are processed.
That's true. I don't. I'm going to use myself as an example, because I know there are a lot of vegetarians out there, and it's a personal choice if you want to be a vegetarian. If you don't want to be a vegetarian, it's your own personal choice. But for me, the way the foods are processed, I wouldn't be healthy being just a vegetarian.
When you say
I know what.
When you say the way the foods are processed, what foods are you talking about? As far as the vegetarian,
Unless you're getting food from the health food store, or if the ingredients, and this is all, we're just praying that they're putting all the information correct on these labels. 'Cause they know a lot of people are reading labels now, so who knows what they're actually putting in there. Because a lot of them now will just have the ingredient and then have spices. Or natural spices. There are preservatives that aren't good for you. It's a natural spice because they consider natural because it's found in the ground, or it's not so much the ground, but it's something that they created. It's natural because they put chemicals together. So this is just my personal opinion. for me, I wouldn't be a vegetarian now because, again, of the way foods are processed. If I was growing my own beans and what have you, then maybe, yeah, I would be a vegetarian. But since I don't have my own, the with what they're doing now, I just with the foods. Mm-mm.
But what I'm saying is, since we know, okay, that they're doing things with the fruits and vegetables as well as with the meat, right? So can we actually really say that we're eating healthy?
We're doing our best.
Okay.
We're doing our best
That-
with what we have out there. I would suggest, because even I do this, I would suggest making sure that you're taking vitamins. My vitamins that I've always used are brand names that are known in the health industry. Before these other companies started putting out their own vitamins and minerals, they don't use preservatives. They don't use corn, wheat in their vitamins, because a lot of people are allergic to those things, even though they're natural. Some people are allergic to them. But that's what I use, and that's what I would suggest. Even for myself, I don't eat a lot of meat. I know brown rice and a bean, that makes a complete protein. I don't have that all the time, so I have protein drinks. For breakfast, when I wake up, I might have some fruit, and then I'll bring my protein drink with soy milk with me when I go to work, and I shake it up and I drink it with some fruit. And something I found out, which I'm not sure how true it is, but I know the ratio of protein and carbs, the ratio should be more protein to carbs. A lot of the proteins now have more carbs than protein. The one that I found that has that ratio where you have more protein and carbs is a rice protein that I take. I don't know how true that is, as far as if you are trying to maintain your weight or lose your weight, that's what you should be taking in. I know carbs is a big factor in well, I'll just say that if you're trying to lose weight, you shouldn't have as many carbs. You should have if anything, more protein than carbs, because you can't lose weight with eating a lot of carbs, and then that's a whole nother subject right there.
Well, let's talk a little bit about obesity. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. I saw a sign that said obesity is not a decision; it's a disease. What's your
What
thoughts
do they mean
about
by
that?
that? It's a decision. So they're saying that the person decided to be obese, or decided that they want to eat so much until they're obese. So what are they saying by that sign?
Well, they're saying that obesity is not a decision, right?
They said, "Oh,
It's not a decision.
Oh,
It's a disease.
I thought you said the other way around."
Because what you're saying in the conversation, healthiness and what you eat is all contributed to healthiness, which obesity is not healthy, right?
Right, it's not.
So the choices of foods that you make could determine whether you are obese or out of shape or unfit. But what this sign said was this was some organization that was trying to get people to come to be treated for a disease called obesity.
You said the right thing. They're trying to get them to come there. A lot of times, just like you said, you have to find out the root. Why are they eating like that to the point where they are obese? There's a reason why. It could have been something from their childhood. That's my opinion. You have to find out why. It could be something genetic. It could be, yeah, because genetically that could happen too.
So obesity could be genetically.
Genetic, yeah. It could be psychological. Something personal happened. You never know. We live in a society where we are drugged up. Every commercial talks about drugs, talks about, and a ache or pain there. A lot of times they show these commercials with the sun shining and people smiling, but then if you listen to the side effects, but you have to really listen to the side effects and not just look at what they're portraying on the screen. A lot of times these medications will kill you. I think our society, and it has to do with a lot with the pharmaceutical companies and money. Okay, and for the money. So a person with these, just like I mean, nervous. What was it? Nervous leg syndrome. I'm like, what the heck is that? So if a person feels a little tingle on their leg, then okay, I have what they just saw on the screen. They're going to go to the doctor, say this is what I have. Doctor's going to prescribe that, and then what's going to happen? That prescription that's given to them is going to cause some other problem to happen. Instead of just, okay, so why is my leg tingling? Is it maybe I'm eating something I'm allergic to? It could be something else. But our society, we're just drugged up and obese because of commercials and advertisements. But again, going back to what you was talking about, that sign and obesity, I think with obesity, and this is my opinion, it could be genetic, it could be psychological, could be something that happened, like I said, when they, in their life. Because sometimes the food, it's like a satisfying thing. If you're unhappy, it depends. When you're little, maybe when you got a spanking or something like that, maybe your mother give you a lollipop. Here, take a lollipop. Be quiet. And that soothed that kid. So think about it. When you get older, you're unhappy. Just take that cake that cookie, take that. You'll feel better. So I think it's more to it than just that.
So it's not like just a disease as far as to.
No, that's my opinion.
It could be a combination of a decision of a person's eating habits, as well as it could be something in the person's bloodline that makes that person crave for that. And I think that may be what they're trying to say, that it could be something in that person's bloodline that's making them crave that.
But see, with advertising, let me tell you about advertising. Advertising is done in a way to grab a person. If I see a sign that relates to me in some sort of way, and it's talking about disease, I'm like, wow, I got a disease, got to go to the doctor. Okay, it's all in advertising. Advertising, because I know a lot about advertising too. These ads are put out to attract and get that customer for whatever product they have out there. Just like we always tell you this, when you're looking at TV and then here come the commercial, it's real loud because they want you to wake up and look at their commercial. Okay.
So let me ask you, to help a person who, you have a person who they've gotten their membership at the fitness center, and they've been working out, but it seems like they're not losing the weight. It seems like it's just hard.
if they're really overweight and they've never exercised before, my suggestion is to go to the doctor first, because the doctor should run some tests on them. That includes EKG, make sure their heart is fit. Excuse me, and also the treadmill. Tell their doctor exactly what they want to do. Sometimes the doctor will suggest how they should start off. But what I would suggest is go to the doctor, tell them what they want to do as far as physically, they want to get back into shape. And then if they can find a nutritionist, then find a nutritionist that'll help them. Because the nutritionist I'm talking about one who deals in health foods, okay, and vitamins. They will devise a program for them. They'll find out what kind of exercise they want to do, and maybe come up with a program and foods and stuff they should eat.
So there is hope for a person who is, or who has been considered as being obese.
Yeah. You ever notice these commercials? They always have chocolate, make it so enticing. Candy bars make it so enticing, and then on the news they're talking about how obese we are. It just makes me sick.
So is it the candy bar that's wrong, or is it how much of the candy bar that they do eat?
How much of it?
Yeah, because it's like,
And then you have to remember these candy bars too have empty calories in them. You can get a candy bar like the candy bar I was eating yesterday. It's by Nugo or New Free. It has nuts, it has rice, it has almonds, cranberries, and it does have a chocolate. It does have chocolate. It's cocoa. I think it's cocoa in it. But I only ate half of it because the sweetness, it was just enough for me. It had no sugar. It had honey. Okay. So all of those ingredients are healthy. Okay. Those calories my body will use. A lot of these candy bars, they have empty they might have peanuts in them, but that's it. They have a lot of sugar. Your body will use that sugar. You have to be on that sugar high, and all of a sudden you go come right back down.
hmm so would you say that it's, if you're going to, even if you're going to have a candy bar, because everybody's not going to throw the candy bar out the window.
Yeah.
But
Find a healthy one.
if they're going to eat a candy bar, and even if they're going to eat that candy bar, and we're not going to call the names of the brands, but as I know myself, I eat a candy bar, and I'm not going to eat the healthy one. But what when you say that even if you just got to have that particular candy bar, just eat just a little, don't eat the whole thing.
Just eat it, but don't eat it and then I want another one. Go eat another candy bar. I want, and then go eat another. I want another one,
So
and go eat it. It's okay. Don't drive yourself crazy when it comes to. This is how I see it. Don't drive yourself crazy when it comes to eating healthy. We all want to eat the right foods. We all do. But if it's that one time you want to eat that chocolate cake, slice a cake, eat it. But just don't go back, because then that's where that whole cravings come in. And remember in the beginning I was talking about getting all that stuff out of your system. But a lot of times once you start, I'm gonna tell you this, once your system is clean and you start eating healthy and you stop eating all that junk, once you do eat that junk, I'm talking about the junk, because there are healthy cakes and stuff you can eat, but I'm talking about that junk that's on the market now. You're going to go back to eating it. And then you're going to go back to eating it. You're going to go back to eating it until you get to the point, okay, you got to clean yourself out. Because that's even happened to me, where I've had cake, and I love chocolate, but to eat what's on the market, I've done it. And then I'm like, okay, now you're not supposed to be eating this, and I'll clean my system out and get back on track again. But I'm not going to beat myself up about it, and no one should beat themselves up about it. We're trying to do the best we can, and the time we can do it in.
I'm going to ask you one more question. We have just a few minutes left on this. We're going to have to probably do a part two, because I know people are going to want to hear more. So, but the question I want to ask you is, okay, we are talking about eating healthy, and quite naturally we know that it's not cheap to eat healthy.
No, it's not.
So a person may say, well, how can I afford, I'm hungry and the healthy food don't fill me up, and I'm hungry and I can't afford it. What would you say to that person?
When they clean their system out, the stomach is going to shrink. Well, you know what the best thing to do? Go to YouTube. There's a YouTube video out there that shows they took the food from this particular fast food restaurant, and they showed how quickly the mold, and it was just disgusting. But there was some other information I found about particular fast food restaurants, food item, that it was like one ingredient away from being plastic. When you go to the regular shopping centers, read the ingredients. Like if you're purchasing whatever it is you're purchasing, read the ingredients, and you can go from there. even the cans of beans, if you purchase beans in a can, all of that. Just read the ingredients.
But I would add, as far as it financially, is that
Oh, and brown rice, not white rice.
from financially, okay, don't go to the local grocery store
Yeah, that too.
because you have people that
Local
are in,
grocery store.
huh?
I have not seen a local grocery store around here.
Well, when I say local grocery store, I'm talking about the supermarket grocery store where everybody goes to shop.
Oh,
You can find and if you look far enough, you'll find that there are actually people that still actually have their own farms and they actually sell their own products, right? They don't distribute it to any grocery stores or markets.
oh yeah, the farmers markets.
Yeah.
Yeah, the farmers markets. Those are a good place to go.
And the foods are not as high in price, and they're
Right, I forgot about them.
right. So if you want to eat healthy, don't go to the world's
Can't say any names.
renowned grocery store that has organic
Huge
food
shopping
that's going to
centers.
cost you $500 to $600, and you got a half a cart full, or maybe 1/3 of a cart full.
Yeah.
But if you can take $500 and go find somebody who has actually a local, like you said, the farmers market, or somebody who actually may have their own local produce that they sell on the side of the road. We see it all the time. If
Yeah,
man,
but sometimes I don't think those are organic though. The organic ones you'll find at the farmers market, and I think there is a farmers market in Washington. I think they have it every Saturday and Sunday, or every other Saturday and Sunday. I think it's in Washington. The Eastern Market, that stop on the Blue Line. I know I had the information before,
But
because I was like, wow, that's great.
for those that are listening that may not live in Washington, just showing them
Oh,
how
if they just
they can find somewhere where they can get food,
and
healthy
a
food.
lot
It's
of
not
places
expensive.
have their own farmers market. In New York, we have our own farmers market there.
Right.
No, that's on 14th Street.
So we're going to have a part two because Zari has a whole lot more knowledge that she's going to share, and so we're going to take a break, and we'll come back with the part two on this Azaria's food and nutrition tips. You have been just listening to the Holistic Channel with your hosts Kazak and Azaria Kabad. Azaria's Food and Nutrition is brought to you by Malachi Ministries. Until next time, be blessed.